Okay, so in this example, we're given a problem where everything kind of split up. So in the case that you want to solve something using method 1 or method 2, method 1 being the Xbox or diamond, and then method 2 being the quadratic formula, you want to make sure that everything is on one side. So if you wanted to use method 1 or method 2, you would make sure to subtract 16x from both sides and then add 24 to both sides so that everything is on one side. Okay. For this completing the square method, you just need to make sure all the variables are on one side. So I'm going to go ahead and show you that I would go ahead and subtract 16x from both sides first. And then I would do 2x squared minus 16x equals negative 24. Okay, so the condition for, again, solving this one is that you need to have all the x's on one side and you just want to have the constants on the other side. The second condition is that you should have a should be equal to 1. So a should be equal to 1 here. So you can see here it's not equal to 1. So in order to clear that, one thing we can do is to see if every number is divisible by the number in front of x squared. Okay. So I'll say that again. So in order to make sure that we can do this problem correctly, you want to make sure that the number in front of x squared, or the coefficient, is equal to 1. And if it is not, then you want to see if everything is divisible by that number. Because if it is, then you can go ahead and divide everything by that coefficient. So in this case, everything is divisible by 2. So we can just go ahead and divide both sides by 2. So this becomes x squared minus 8x is equal to negative 12. Okay, so now that we've done this, I'm actually going to rewrite it so that I can give myself more space. So I'm going to do it like this. The first step that we're going to do is we're going to add b divided by 2a squared to both sides. So we're going to add b divided by 2a squared to both sides. If you can't remember that, what you're adding to both sides is the number in front of x divided by 2 squared. So what you're adding to both sides is the number in front of x divided by 2 squared. Okay. So again, what you're doing is you're adding the number in front of x divided by 2 squared. Okay. So in this case, this would be x squared minus 8x plus negative 8 divided by 2 times 1 squared. So this would be negative 2 plus the same thing, negative 8 divided by 2 times 1 squared. This would equal x squared minus 8x plus negative 4 squared. This would be negative 12 plus, again, the same thing squared, because you're really adding the same thing to both sides. This is what we call zero sum, to make sure that you're adding 0, or both sides of the equation are equal to each other still. Okay, so this number in here, you want to go ahead and remember this number because this is going to be very important. So this is going to become x squared minus 8x plus 16 equals negative 12 plus 16. So now we're going to factor it. So we're going to go x minus, and I know it's going to be minus a number because my b is already a negative number. Okay. So that number I told you to memorize, that negative 4, is going to come into play. It's going to be right here. So the negative 4 is going to be right here. This is going to be equal to 4. The reason I can do this is because x squared minus 8x plus 16 is equal to x minus 4 squared. Okay. So the reason we can do this is because, again, x squared minus 8x plus 16 is equal to x minus 4 squared. In the case that you have trouble converting x squared minus 8x plus 16 into this one, you could go ahead and use the diamond method to aid you so that you can create the factors for this. Technically, again, what you're doing is you're saying, well, they have to multiply to 16, they have to add up to negative 8, and so the factors are negative 4 and negative 4, which is x minus 4 times x minus 4, which is the same thing as saying x minus 4 squared. So you're really just converting it from this to this. Okay. So again, all you're doing is you're converting it from x squared minus 8x plus 16 into x minus 4 squared. So our next step is to square root both sides. You're going to square root both sides. This is going to be x minus 4. So you're going to get rid of the squared in the top right. It's going to just become x minus 4 equals plus or minus the square root of 4. And again, you can go ahead and simplify this if you already know what the square root of 4 is. That's totally fine. The next thing you would do is plus 4 to both sides. You would get x is equal to 4 plus or minus the square root of 4. So now we can split this into two different things. This would be x is equal to 4 plus the square root of 4, or x is equal to 4 minus the square root of 4. So this would be 4 plus the square root of 2 times 2, which we know that if you have two numbers under the square root which multiply each other, this becomes 4 plus 2, and this becomes 6. So x is equal to 6, or x is equal to 4 minus the square root of 2 times 2, 2 of the same number, so then it becomes x is equal to 4 minus 2, x is equal to positive 2. So the two different answers we would get is x is equal to 6, or x is equal to positive 2.